So in today's video, I want to talk about how do you identify the direction of the market. As a first reader, you come into the chart for the first time. The first thing is you have to observe the charts. Are we creating high highs and higher lows? Or are we putting lower lows and lower highs? When you see price creating something like this, you see price move up, pull back, move up again, do something like this, pull back again, move up, pull back, move up. So what you just see here is an uptrend. This is a low, a high. This is a higher low, higher high. Price pullback created a higher low, another higher high. Price pullback and was created a higher low and higher high. So once you see price like this, so this is example of an uptrend. And when you see price moving in something like this, a low created a high, took out this one, this, you have this, something like this, continue having something like this, then you drop again. So what we just see here is what is a downtrend. So when you see price creating lower highs, lower low, lower high, lower low, a lower high, a lower low. Price is in this situation now. Let's use this uptrend for example now. Price is in this situation, makes price at this point. Point this particular area here is not an area where you should want to be buying because this is an overbought area. So you want to wait for price to pull back before you take the buy, the next buy. All right, you want to wait for price to pull back before you take that next buy. And how do you identify that okay, price needs to pull back? Once you are trading and you see this was the last high that price created, right? Then shoot back. Then price took off that high. At this point here is what we call the break of structure. Yeah. So once price breaks structure, what you want to wait for back, what you want to wait for is wait for price to pull back. Now, how do you now enter when you are expecting this pullback? Where exactly do you want to wait back for price to pull back? All right. First, that's where you need your Fibonacci tools. So this Fibonacci, you're going to take your Fibonacci tools so you connect from this low to this high, then you drag it forward like this. Now there are two ideal areas which I will advise you should only take entry from. Just two areas. And the first one is in between 6.18 and 5.0. So this area, whether price is touching just 5.0 or is in the middle here or is here. So any area between all these places here, it's the first point you want to be taking your entry. And this particular area is called the Fibonacci golden zone. This particular area from 50 down to 6.18. So all the box here. So I'm going to draw a box here. So from the top to the bottom, the whole area here is called the Fibonacci golden zone. That's the first area where you want to be eyeing that okay, I might likely be taking an entry here if I see an opportunity. And two, the next area you also want to take your interest is also this area here, which is 6.18 and 786, which here is called the OTE. So I'll be dropping a video explaining this OTE in details and also another video explaining the Fibonacci golden zone in details. So here, this particular zone here. So these are the two areas where you are more interested in taking a position. Just these two areas. So if you got an entry here, fine. If you got an entry here, fine. Now, how do you now know exactly where you need to take the entry? As price is going, when price pull back, price is going to create an opportunity. Whether it's left a demand candle or a supply candle, so it's actually going to drop an area where it tells you that okay, anytime I pull back to this point, this is where I might be taking entry. For example, if you use this kind of situation here, when price was pulling back and going forward, this particular type of thing here, you might also see something similar here, which something like this. If I try to drag this one back like this, something exactly like this, might see it or just a red candle that is left in multiples of green candles. So those are the kind of area you want to be taking your positions for a buy. Then you target the previous high. Then if you want to target the extension, you use Fibonacci extension. Then you target this extension here. So we're going to live chat and explaining this in details. You might not really understand in a rough chat like this because seeing it on paper like this is not exactly the way it is on the real chart. So we're going to a real chart and I'll be explaining to you more in details. All right. So I got you covered on that. So same thing in a downtrend when price is coming in a downtrend like this. This is also similar things you will see. So let's say when price was dropping here, exactly price was here, it was dropping. At this point, price might left a particular zone at this point where it might be pulling back to this particular area here. And that was exactly when it pulled back into it and it dropped. So if I try to use Fibonacci from this high here to this low here, let's see where it falls in the Fibonacci zone. So on the high to the low. So if you notice, this falls in what the OTE zone. So you could see that immediately it tapped on that zone, then it drop off. So this particular area here, price actually let maybe a order block or an imbalance, a fair value gap in the markets where price move rapidly away from that zone, or a supply zone. So if you're selling, it's a supply zone. If you're buying, it's a demand zone. So a supply zone there where price is interested coming back into that area and selling off from there. So this is how you actually trade the market. All right. So this is for a selling opportunity. But if price is in now in this situation like this, you see price creating highs and lows, equals highs and low, equal high and low. Sometimes it comes like this, comes like this, come like this again, come down here, come down here. Now, in this situation of the market, if you are not experienced enough, you don't want to trade the market, you want to stay off. Yes, if you are not experienced enough, you want to stay off. But if you are experienced, the only way you want to trade this market is wait for price to come back to the top here. This particular high, this was the highest high is always creating, and this was the lowest low is creating. All right. So anytime you see price like this, wait for it to come back to this high before you say, okay, since it's in the consolidation phase, I want to take a sell back to the downside. Since it's in a since it's down here, I want to take a buy from this buy back to this upside. This is a consolidating market, sideways, call it the sideways movement. So, and this kind of market, I will ideally advise you don't want to trade self market, because let's say you are in this trade here, you enter somewhere around here and you're targeting here, and it goes to this point, you're expecting to get here and it's pulling back. So if you are not experiencing enough, I don't know that okay, I need to break even my trade or lock in maybe part of my profits and wait for it to do whatever it do. It comes here, then it's what? It's not in your entry. You now close it. So, like for example, in this kind of situation, you say, oh, it's not outside of it. You now go and sell, continue sell. Now it's going to buy. So once you see price in the consolidation phase like this, you want to leave the market, let it do what it needs to do until you see price breaking either to the upside or to the downside. If it's breaking to the upside, let it break to the upside and what and pull back into that zone a little bit. Then once you come outside of it again, that is where you want to take your entry and you want to put your stop there. Then you cannot target the next zone you are seeing maybe here or somewhere. So this only as a breakout, that's only where you want to take the entry. Now I'm going to delete all this and we're going to go inside a live chat, and we actually going to show you a live example of how you can actually trade this setup profitably. So this is AUD chart in front of me, and if you I think I dropped this trade the same day I dropped a trade on GBPJPY, which talking about is SMC strategy really a scam. So that was the I dropped this same setup here, and that was when this sell just if you come down here and like play this buy in that live video. You can watch the videos are always on my channel. You can go and watch the video and you actually see this video there. So I dropped this particular buy. I said I'm taking this buy, though I'm not really comfortable taking this buy. The reason why I'm not comfortable taking this buy, I said this in the video, you can go and watch it. I'm still expecting price to drop to this zone. In that video, I now stated something out. The reason why this buy might be an interesting buy is because there's a particular pattern that's been out here, which I'm more interested in. Is called the Cosmos trading pattern. Yes, I have a particular video dedicated on my channel talking about this Cosmos pattern. About 2 videos recorded on this topic. You can go and watch it talking about the Cosmos pattern. Cosmos pattern is just simply where at this point here, price went like this, and you were waiting for price to come back to this point before you buy. And at the time price came here, you place your buy, and it went in profit a little bit, then came back and took you out in loss. Then price blew up all the way. Now the price still went in your direction, but it first take you out on stop loss on the loss before it went all the way to this high. So and now price now return back to that same area, and you are now seeing price kind of consolidating in that area. What price just did here was that area was a very valid area, which you are right in the first place. But because they need to do manipulation, they manipulated and price took you out and went to your direction. Now price is coming back to that same area, that same zone you mapped out. You can see it's that same zone. So you want to take a sell, put your stop loss exactly the same place you put it in the first time, then take the trade. And this time around is going to play out. So where were you targeting that first time when it came here? Let's say you're targeting this particular eye here, and which you see that is that particular same eye I'm targeting on this particular trade too. So you can see the same eye. All right. But now, and I've stated something that anytime you are trading against the trend, you need to identify something. Make sure you manage your trade and make sure you are not greedy, especially when you are trading against the trend. So Looking at this trend, we actually very clear that we are in a downtrend. You can see its price coming all the way this 4 hour time frame. So breaking structure coming down to that side. We know that clearly we are in a downtrend. All right. But because of this pattern we are seeing here, cosmos pattern, we know that okay, this cosmos pattern, um, it actually used to work like 90% of the time. So we took the buy, and it gets to this point. So this was 1% left for this particular trade to ETP. If you look at it, 1% left, and price now start reversing. And it reversed to this point, castle consolidating. This was exactly where I closed out the trade, this area here, this consolidation place I saw here. But I know that I'm actually taking against the trend. And at this point, I was able to take out a risk reward of 1 to 6.5 on this trade. Yes, around something here. So 1 to 6.5, that was where I took out the trade. So let me still leave it here. Ideally, I was expecting it to pull into this place before it sell. But now price didn't even get there, but it's selling. Now, if you notice something, do we get the direction of the market when it was going up? Yes, we get it. Now, when it was first coming down, we get direction of the market. Going up again, we get the direction. Now, we actually says we get a sell again. Do we still get the direction? Yes, we get direction, but we didn't get the exact place it needs to turn, exactly turning point. Now, what we didn't get here. What I now noticed is when I was later analyzing, because this power time frame, I was expecting price to pull back to this last green candle. It's left here, this particular rejection candle, just the tip before selling. But ideally, price didn't pull there. Now, what I noticed is when price dropped the first time, dropped from that high, yet it pulled back a little bit. So if I have to mark out this zone, let me cover the other border of the green candle. You see that this particular candle here almost mitigated this, right? Almost touched it before it rejects. And when it's not going, it's not let another red rejection candle there. So which is not likely to be the next new area where price might be pulling to in the future. And if you look at it, this was exactly where it touched here and started rejecting. So that was the first thing I did notice on that one, which is this nobody's 100% accurate, all right? But it can be 98% accurate, can be 90% accurate. Very sure of that. All right. So now at this point, it's not actually selling, which is ideally with what we are expecting that once it go up like this, it needs to sell now coming back to this point, which price is doing that already. I can tell you for a fact this price here coming down here is coming to take out this structure, break the structure again and pull into this area. All right. We are clearly in a downtrend. That's what AUD, GBP AUD is saying. All right. So it's what which I thought about that you need to identify the direction of the market. When I was explaining on the rough chart, I said how to identify where price might be pulling back to is using Fibonacci. It's either price come into the golden zone or the HOTE zone. Now, let's draw from this high here. This was the high here and this was the lowest low, right? Before they had the pullback, all right? So we're actually going to be using this low. This is the highest high and this is the highest low before the pullback. So let's analyze it here. Okay, let's use this low. Let's use that low. So from this high to this low, yeah. If you notice when price pull back to this one, does it get to the OTE zone? No. Does it get to the golden zone? No. That was the first thing you need to write down. It's get to 32% retracement. And one thing I've always noticed about 32% retracement is I call it shallow retracement. Anytime price retraces at 2% retracement, it's like if it's going, then return again and it still come back inside of the Fibonacci golden zone. And now here you now see if I this was not the low it now created when it came down a little bit. So I'm now going to extend it to that low. So you see that ideally here it came into the Fibonacci golden zone. You can see this is 1 at 5.0. So this is a very interesting area. Now I stated something that when price is going, it will always leave a zone where it will always leave a zone behind a demand zone, a supply zone that it will always pull back into to give you confirmation. Look at the all these candles here, this particular area. This is demand, this is supply area. So our supply is for sale. Anytime you see price pulling back into your supply is sell. So all this place. But I use the last green candle. I could see you can see this was the last green candle that I printed when that the supply zone was printing. I used that last green candle and I map it out. And you can see it's just tapped on that green candle and what sold off from there. Sold off from there, which was at the time price came here. I wasn't actually trading this pair. I wasn't monitoring it, so it was bleeding down, then dropped to this point, then came here. This was there. I now took my entry drop off. Now me taking my entry here as well. All right, you see that this was the very pullback, one green candle pullback. So this is a shallow pullback ideally. So let me this chart is looking rough. So let me delete this one so you see. Okay. So you will see that this particular green candle is one candle dip candle pullback. So I use the eye of this candle to this low. So let's see exactly where price pullback on that one. If you draw the Fibonacci golden zone, if you draw the Fibonacci to I mean from this eye all the way to this low. So what do you notice? It's pulled inside the Fibonacci golden zone. You can watch right from I'll be dropping trade call right from episode 1 up to this particular to the last one. You will always see how accurate this Fibonacci golden zone is. I always trade this Fibonacci golden zone because it's the most accurate. I actually love this Fibonacci golden zone. You see that it's pulled into Fibonacci golden zone, and not just like pull into Fibonacci golden zone. I'll always mark out a level out for it to pull to, and you see it tap into the area. Then I get entry and I sold off from there. Now this particular blog I uploaded here was another blog from I think maybe 15 minutes time frame or 30 minutes time frame. So it was another blog. So I actually we are trading as I'm analyze and go lower in time frame to make the my stop loss very small. So that's what I should do. And you can see it very well here. So one of the best tools you actually want to be using to know the strength of the market, where it's pulling back to, and where it might be extending to anytime it's consistently, is the Fibonacci tools. I can tell you this. Now look at when it started dropping again. Look at where it dropped to. I have to extend it here. What do you notice here? This was what the extension, and immediately gets extension. It started consolidating, and that was exactly where I took a buy again to the upside. So that is just exactly what I was explaining to you in the rough chart. That's exactly what I'm showing you on your live chart here. So I'm going to delete this one, and always try to make your chart very clean. That's very important. Always make your chart very clean, very clean. So now what we're expecting on this price is if I actually saw this on time, I would have taken the sell right from here down here. But since price is gone, that is gone. So I'm not going to take in this trade again. As I'm just going to leave it and watch how it reacts. All right. So I watch how it reacts. That's just for this particular trade. So that's just what I just want to explain to you. I just show you an example on GBP AUD. So from this one, if you also check this one here, this high to this low, this was the last high you saw that broke the structure. So if you're trading, you have to check the last high that break that structure to the last low before the pre pullback started. That's where you need. So the structure was taken out here, the structure was broken here. But was this really a pullback? This was a shallow pullback, then drop. This was where we have the real pullback. So from this area here to this point, let's use the Fibonacci and where price pull to from here all the way to this point here. So I'm just going to extend it forward. So what do you notice? This is the OTE zone, which I explained earlier. So this is the OTE. This is where you see price pulling to OTE. So now look at when price was coming up here. I actually marked the whole of this area. I think this area was marked on the daily or weekly time frame. I can't really remember. But you see that immediate price taps into it, touching this last extreme of the OTE zone, started dropping from there, and it bleed all the way down, all the way down. Even it bleed all the way down to the extension. So you can see it's in this extension here, having the full TP here. So this is just ideally how you can trade all the strategy. Learn how to use the Fibonacci tools is very, very important. It's actually going to guide you on how to manage your trade. It's also going to guide you when you need to get out of the trade. So I'm going to click it so you can check the settings. So take a screenshot of it. You can pause the video at the moment. Take a screenshot of it. This only where you need this one. Set it just exactly the way I set it. Use the settings, and you're going to appreciate me later. So just use the settings, and so once you screenshot this side, now check this side as well. Screenshot this side. This is all you need. Then press OK. Your Fibonacci tools is done. So only thing you need to highlight here is background and all the background. Actually, if this background here is, if I take it out, you can see these colors. That's what the background is. So I just fade it out so I can unbox it. So just make sure the background is not there. Once I fade it out completely, so if even though I leave it box, it's not going to show because I fade it out completely. So I don't need the background. In some charts, you will see the background only showing like the but I personally I don't need the background, so I remove it. I need to see my candles how they are reacting of the zone. That's why I remove the background. So make sure you move the background, the level, you need the level, and put it on value, the text, center, middle. So this is just the way I set my Fibonacci. But the most important settings you need is this area here. Just take the screenshot and set it. So if you like background, you can put the background. If you want to change the color, you can change the colors here. But make sure you box these numbers and write exactly where I write these numbers. So that's how you need this. That's what you need for the Fibonacci. How to set the Fibonacci. So let's have another example. This was a selling situation. So let's have another situation where we are buying. So let's see how it actually works in the buying market as well. All right, and let me use AUD for that. Or okay, let's use our favorite pair. I'm always analyzing, which is the Euro USD. So let's use the Euro USD pair for that. This is the Euro USD chart in front of me. So Before we continue, if you're valuing this video, you want to smash that subscribe button and drop a like. All right, let's continue. So looking at this chart here, which I stated is first last year at the SPY where structure is being taken out, and that's when you can have space for pullback. All right. So let's use this present situation that is particularly here, right? So looking at this zone here, we could see that price was in an uptrend here. This was a low, all right, a high, another low here, a high, another low, a high, a lower high, higher high, lower high. But here, do we have a low, higher high? If you ask me, so let's use this present market situation, all right? So check this point here. I'm just going to draw a straight line. Let's see if structure was still breaking there. So I'm just going to try and zoom out. So let's see together. Wow. So the structure taken out there. Yes, structure was taken because so the five break of structure is once you see a body of a candlestick closing above that previous high, that is the break of structure. You can see the body close above it. So it's not that much, but yes, a body close above it. Still was a clear break of structure. So sometimes you might have break of structure very clear, and sometimes you need to zoom in before you can see that break of structure. So looking at this present situation here, we have a break of structure, right? So the last low that took off this structure was this low here, this particular bottom here. So which is where we are going to be using the Fibonacci from this low here all the way to this high. So if you actually watch my last video, this analysis I'm doing is already in the last video, so you can go and watch it. So I said I'm expecting a very deep sell back to the somewhere here. So now at this point here, where did price on this 4 hours? Look at this 4 hours here. Where did price give us an entry that it might be taken off from there, which is one. I say it's either you see a fair value gap. So which is if you check from this middle here, this was a clear fair value gap, right? So where does this fair value gap fall? It still fall in the Fibonacci golden zone. All right. So this is a Fibonacci golden zone setup. So price might come here and continue higher. I'm likely seeing price clearing off all these lows here. Even this bottom here, I'm seeing price taking it off, dropping little bit further, even breaking this structure. Now I'm seeing price pulling to somewhere around this area here. This is exactly where I'm seeing price pulling to. The further buy could continue. Now, the reason being that is usually I said earlier that December period is not actually the time it must be trading. But by the time we resume back in January, price might have done that and it might just continue our trade here from January, then take that buy. And the reason why I say that is because now try to understand something here. This break of structure we had it was not really a cleared one. So in fact, if it's from my own side, I will say this is not a break of structure. The reason why being that is because this still looks like a double top to me. This looks like a double top. So it's just the body closing just above it a little bit. You need to see more of the body, like very clean. So, but let's still take it as break of structure, all right? I don't want to confuse you guys here. So let's take a break of structure. The last low which I am interested in for buyers to protect or this buy to continue, you will see that this all this pullback we are having here was a shallow pullback. I think I did an analysis on USDJPY. You can go and check their video where I with backtested USDJPY. I talked about something like this. All these pullbacks we are seeing here is a shallow pullback. And anytime you see the price doing a shallow pullback like this, price will actually come back later and do a very deep pullback. All right. So now, first thing, if you notice, we are in a very clear downtrend. And an immediate downtrend here. So it was not a really long time downtrend because you see we break a structure to the upside here. So this was a clear break of structure here to the upside. So which signify more buys. So we add this break of structure. Okay, the internet again. So we add this break of structure here. So you can see it. Look at how this body of this candlestick close. This is exactly what I am interested in. So this is a very neat one. We have the break of structure downside and price was dipped. This was the last load that took out the structure. You see, this was the structure here. This was the last load that we had the pullback before the structure was taken out. So the load that needs to be protected is this one. And you can see price protected it. It never worked. Price didn't take it out before we started seeing that pullback up. And the next I will need to take out for an option to continue is now this particular one here, which I'm going to mark out something like this. All right. So which this let me just label this one before structure. Okay, I don't know why it's not labeling, but let's leave it. So this is the new I we need to take out for us to continue the uptrend. Before we take out this I, you'll see that when price was dropping, creating lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. It was breaking structure as lower low, lower high, I mean lower low. This was the last structure is created here. I think I talked about it in one of my videos. So you can, I cannot remember the particular video, but I think I talked about this already. So this was a clear break of structure here, a clear break of structure downside. Then I stated in that video that the only eye that needs to be protected for this downtrend to remain a downtrend is this one. Once price close above this eye, then we should be expecting more buys. All right. And here price now what took it out here. So you could see this was what a change of character. So it's not labeling, so let's just leave it. So but try to understand what I'm trying to explain here. So this was a clear what? Clear change of character. So now let me zoom in and also show you something here. Look at how price closed above this one. We saw a very clean body closing above it. Even price play above it a little bit. Then again went up. So the last low that we are not interested in, that took off this character is this one. This is now the new low that price needs to protect. All right. So from this low to this high price just created, I'm going to draw a Fibonacci. So I'm going to delete this one. So get the point what I'm trying to explain here. Fibonacci from here all the way to this high. This zone I map out. I draw this zone, right? Not quite long. And this zone I draw here, where do you think it's falling to? Inside of the Fibonacci golden zone. And price already tells us that even before I draw this Fibonacci zone, I always point out this area that there's a level I'm eyeing there. So which now price what confirmed it. The Fibonacci also confirmed it that yes, it's inside of the Fibonacci golden zone. So you can actually be eyeing it, you are right. That's the first thing. And actually on this other side too, this OTE zone, we also have another very interesting candle here again. So now we have to, this is the reason why I even analyze this USD for you guys. I use as an example. We have two areas telling us, like me taking a buy from here, take a buy from here. We do not believe. So which on my own side, now I'm going to delete this Fibonacci. So Fibonacci has tells me that anytime price pullback, it needs to get somewhere around there, which is in line with the previous high. So we need to take other high. So that one is fine. So now Fibonacci gave me very clear two zone there. So which one am I really going to be interested in? Now, if you notice when we have the consolidation here, we have an imbalance here, and price came back was filled it, then went up. And then after it filled it, it dropped this candle here, then price filled it and went up. Another this is a morning star candlestick formation here, this particular one. The price filled and this particular candlestick morning star formation. I told you that I think I'll be dropping a candlestick pattern actually explain this one in details, but let me just brief it here. The when you see price completely engulfing the source candle, this was the source candle, this was the source candle, and this was the bullish candle. So when you see price completely engulfing the source candle, it means what this is where you want to look for your entry. All right. So at the top, at the body of that candle. So let me just put that trend line very well. And price ideally came there. So that one is right. It should and it went. All right. But look at this point here. When price, this was not an heavy morning star candle formation. In fact, this was just an indication candle. Then price went. And if I try to use this indicator, so let's use this indicator and see. So I'll be dropping more videos explaining all these things in detail, so you might not really understand them. So it's until you learn candlesticks very well, that's when you can understand all these things I'm doing. So you see, this was level I draw, and you could see this indicator also has a level there. Then this was another one indicator. This indicator also has another level there. In fact, this indicator use this red candle, the whole of this red candle, or the high. So we also add another one here, but I'm not going to be using this one. This one is not interested so because price already fulfilled that one. So the real one I'm interested in is this one and this one. All right, this one and this one, that's the two one which I plotted personally and which is what I am interested in. Now, this particular one as well here, this is a teaser bottom, all right, signifying the buy, which I stated earlier. And this teaser bottom one, you see that this one will fall in 32% retracement, which I tell you that most of 32% retracement does not really work. Price will always come back inside 50 or inside the Fibonacci OTP, all right, OTE. So and this indicator also stated that there's also another zone here. So now this we are not having like three zone here, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. But I might not really be interested in this one because this one is totally off from the Fibonacci OTE zone and the golden zone. But notwithstanding, when price gets here, what I want to do, if I'm going to be using the Fibonacci golden zone to trade, so now I can off the indicator. I'll show you that. So you can actually check the name of the indicator. This can also help you of on how you can actually be plotting your support if you don't know how to plot your key levels, marking the other blocks, say value gap out very well yet. Especially other blocks, this indicator is going to help you. So the name of the indicator is smart money concepts. So that's by Los Argo. Smart money concept by Los Argo. So you can use that indicator, it's going to guide you. All right, so that's for that. Okay, I've got the indicator. So let me open it back. So all right, that's for that. So yeah, what I'll be interested in here is I'll be like want to see something like if price pull back into this zone, where is that trend line? Okay. If price pull back into this zone here, I want to see something like this, which I'm sure price will leave something like the other block here, then tap into the other block, then continue. So this is where like coming into this zone like 2 times. So that was where I'll be interested in taking it back on this particular one. And if it's also coming to the down one, same similar things I would like to see. So if that doesn't happen, then I'm not taking trade on the two of them. So what I mean is this one like this and this. If it's also coming to this one, you must also see something similar like this. Maybe price now shoots to this bottom of this one, then now use the opportunity to come back again. Then once they are going again, that's where I get in. So this is the only way I can trade this particular zone. So this is exactly what is here. Looking at this tweezer or something here, yeah, this tweezer bottom. You see that when price first shoot up, then came back to that same OTE zone, then move up. So that's exactly what I do. That's exactly what I'm expecting. And if you look at I even like something what price did here, these 2 hours, right? This was the chase out of, right? When price shoot up, came back again, it still created that same chase out of. So even you don't trust this one because this one is kind of a little bit higher than this one, but this one, same thing happened again. This will be this now you have to try this one and use it to take your entry and wait. And actually, price also this also is one where price might put into for the buy, but I'll not be interested in taking this one because this one is only going to fall in the 32% interest rate, which I'm not interested in. So right, I'm not taking any entry here as well. I'm not taking any entry here. So the ones I'm interested in is this two zone here. So once we have this two zone, because we already change the character here from a bearish outlook to a bullish outlook. So now we need to see that pullback, that real pullback. I'm not looking for a shallow pullback because for let me explain something in details here, which I might be talking about this in my subsequent video, explain it very well, but let me just brief it here. Once you see this kind of pullback, this very deep pullback, all right, you see this kind of very deep pullback, price dropped rapidly like this, very deep pullback. If price wants to buy, the buying strength should not be a shallow pullback like this for the buying. No. So this even means that buyers are not really yet fully, are not in the market fully yet. This kind of pullback you are seeing, this was a very massive drop, shallow pullback, drop, pullback, drop. So this was heavy pullback. So once you're seeing a heavy pullback like this, an heavy pullback like this, once price is about going, you must also see what heavy movements like you must see the strength of the buyers. So which as it's going like this, seller needs to take a particular portion like a deep over, then for continue. Once that happens, I can get in the trade comfortably and say yes, we are in a bullish move. So this that's exactly this. I think this is going to happen in January. So we just wait patiently and let's see our price go off in January. All right. So looking at this particular setup here, this particular one you're seeing here, if I go to my Euro USD chart, which let me just have full screen here. All right. So you can see is the Euro USD, right? So let me go to my Euro USD chart here. I actually use the new chart here. So if I go to my normal Euro USD chart, what do you notice here? I had the sell here already. But for December period, I think I analyze this one. You can go and check one of the video. This analysis is there. But I'm not going to be trading it for the December period. All right. So I'm not going to be trading for December period. This analysis was yesterday, and you see that the analysis is playing out. So you only see that my target was on this one. You see, taking out this one on this one. So if you see where I'm targeting on this one, this first one here, if I have to go to that new Euro USD chart, I'm using to explain for you guys. All right, so that particular zone which you see on my chart there is this particular one here. That's where I'm selling to. So once it gets here, that was when I'll fold my hand and reserve, which is exactly what I explained here. That you might see something like this, there is something like this before the buy take off. So why am I going off the trade from this point is because this was the first level, which is the Fibonacci golden zone. So that's why I'm going off the trade. So this particular zone you see here, look at the zone. This is exactly what I have on my normal Hero USD chart here. So you can see it. This was exactly where I'm targeting. That's the same reason why I'm targeting this place. Once price get it, I'm beginning off. So and this is the issue of 1 to 11. So but this actually December, so I didn't drop this setup. It's in January, second week of January before we start trading again. So and here we come to the end of the video. If you find value in this video, you want to smash the subscribe button, drop a like, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so you don't stay at the tail when I drop also content like this. Stay safe and peace out. Bye.